Larry with the Lehman Liftgate Company. What we're going to be going over today is the maintenance on this. The first thing I'm going to show you is the maintenance minder that's inside the box. The easiest way to do this is to lift the door, slide the door off. Okay, this is the maintenance minder. It's on every Lehman premium gate. As we go through this, it doesn't matter which gate it is. The only difference between it is the information that's stored into it. Okay, this maintenance minder has got 4 screens, or 4 menus, 27 screens. Each menu has different information on it. Pushing this button will light up the screen, and you can use these arrow keys to go to whatever menu you want to go to. Menu 1 is just liftgate information. It's liftgate, it's information about the liftgates. Menu 2 is period information. This is the one you're going to use most because it's information gathered between maintenance periods. When it gets to 3,000 lifts, it's going to start beeping and tell you it's time to do maintenance. Menu 3 is lifetime information. This is information gathered during the life of the liftgate. It will gather certain information. Menu 4 is last lift information. The last time you run this lift, it will gather information, how long the motor ran, what the voltage drew down to it was going, and the last one is, I'll explain when we get to it. So when you get to whatever one you want to get into, you hit the enter key over here. This is liftgate information. As you hit this, it will come up into the screen. You'll have model number, and you use these arrow keys to move up and down. You got serial number. That's really important. As you're ordering parts and or if you do warranty, you have to have this serial number. The serial number tells them everything that's been put on this liftgate. Then it has vehicle number. That was a good idea, except for they never put the right gate on the right vehicle, so it won't say anything. Then you've got the date that it was manufactured. That date is put in the day it ships. We used to send warranty cards out with every liftgate. We never got warranty cards back, so now what they do is they put this date in the day it ships. They allow 30 days for it to get to the installer, be installed, and then put in service. Then you got hardware and firmware. That's more for us. Anytime the manufacturer changes something, he'll change this. And then the last screen on this is liftgate type. And all it says is PUGD, which is power up, gravity down. It may say PUPD, which is power up, power down. Menu 2 is period information. Like I said before, this is the one you're going to use most of. As you go in here, it tells you, as you're going through this, what you've done between maintenance periods, what this gate has done. So you got number of lifts. The one on the left is how many lifts has been made between the maintenance period. The one on the right is when it gets to 3,000, it will start beeping, telling you it's time to do maintenance. Doesn't stop the operation of the gate, but just let you know that it's time to do maintenance, and it will beep every lift past 3,000. Motor on just tells you how many minutes the motors ran between these maintenance periods. Service faults. Once it gets to 3,000, we'll start counting how many lifts past 3,000, it's gone. Low voltage faults, if the batteries get down below 10 volts, it will shut off, start beeping, and count as the low voltage fault. Max time faults, what that does is if you get a short in the wires between the switch and the maintenance minder, and the gate starts running, and it runs longer than 3 minutes, it'll say there's something wrong, and it'll turn the voltage off to the starter solenoid, so it shuts the gate down. If the starter solenoid sticks, it won't do anything. It'll keep running. High temperature faults. If the motor gets up above 232 degrees, this will come on, start beeping, the motor will shut down, and will say it'll give you a high temperature fault. It'll let you know why. High pressure faults, that's not hooked up. You don't have to worry about it. And then you've got reset, lift, hold, reset. So the reset menu 2 only. You get to this screen, here is where the lift fault is. You hold that in, and as you hold that in, it will tell you one of these buttons to hit. Like this one says down. So as I hold that in, come on. It's telling me to hit the down button. I hit it, it says reset succeeded. So now if I go back to menu 2 and I hit enter, everything is zeroed out. 0, 0, 0, all the way through menu 2. Menu 3 is identical to menu 2 except for its lifetime history. So if you hit the enter key, you go in here, it tells you in its lifetime what it's done. Number of lifts, it's how long the motors ran during its lifetime, how many service faults, low voltage faults, max time faults, high temperature faults. High pressure faults should always say 0. And then when you get here, it says history of reset, press enter. This does not reset menu 3. It gives you a lifetime history of every time menu 2 has been reset. So you can go back and look through it. Just scroll through it. You can go up or down, whichever way you want to go. This is the 4th time it was reset. It had 0 lifts and 0 minutes on the motor. If I go to 3, 3rd time it was reset, it had 1 lift and 0 minutes on the motor. Menu 4 is is really important. When you hit the button, the first screen shows you voltage on the left, which is what the batteries drew down to as the lift was being made. The voltage on the right is what the batteries are sitting right now. So the batteries right now are 12.6. This is not under a load. It tells you the second screen, motor, how many seconds the gate ran during this lift. And then the third one says window time MS. What that is it will count in milliseconds. That's what the MS stands for. How long the batteries stay between 6 and 8 volts. If it goes below 6 volts, it instantly shuts off. So there's a time delay on this of 3 seconds, which says you can draw the gate all the way down to 6 volts for 3 seconds, so long as the batteries come back up above 10 volts, it'll keep running. So what this screen does is anytime you're getting readings, you should never see readings in there. If all your batteries are fully charged, all your connections are good, clean, and tight, and you got good grounds, and you're getting readings in here between 6 and 8 volts, it's likely that the brushes in the motor were pretty well worn. And it's time to change the motor or have the motor rebuilt or put new brushes in the motor. But that is depending on that everything on the batteries, the connections, and the grounds are good. And you still get readings in there, then it's likely that the motor, the brushes are pretty well worn. Okay, to adjust the in and out chain, the gate has to be all the way out, and this is the adjustment on the back side, not the front side. When you go to adjust the chain, you need a 3/4 inch socket and or wrench, and you need a 1/2 inch wrench. On the back of the gate, there's a locking nut. You want to loosen the nut. You want to take this nut right here, and the 1/2 inch wrench is to hold the chain. If you don't hold the chain and you start tightening, it starts twisting the chain and you end up breaking this connecting link. This is a connecting link that connects the chain to the adjustment screw. So you have to take the wrench, hold it straight, and then you adjust it until you get the tension on the chain straight, but you don't want it so tight that the chain doesn't have any flexibility in it at all. Like right there is just fine. Then you screw the locking nut back in, take a 3/4 inch wrench, and you tighten the locking nut so the screw won't move. On the back of every door of the power unit on any Lehman liftgate is laminated on there a wiring and hydraulic schematic. It's all color coded to match the wires in the power unit, and then there's this little box up here that says power unit. This is really important in your troubleshooting. In this box it says up, down, in, and out. This is a side gate. And if you look at this, it says up, energizes the starter solenoid, the black and the blue wire. Down, it energizes C, valve C, which is the white wire. In, it energizes valve B, which is the orange wire, and the starter solenoid. And out, it energizes A, the red wire, and the starter solenoid. So anytime you're troubleshooting the liftgate, this is what you really want to look at. You can look at the diagram to make sure it's hooked up right, but this is what you want to look at because it's going to tell you what valve, if the motor's running or not, that's being used. So you don't have to go through everything. You know exactly which valve is supposed to be working. Okay, when you're troubleshooting a gate, and let's give a problem that the gate goes up, it goes in, it goes out, but it won't come down. Whenever you're troubleshooting a gate, the first thing you want to do before you do anything else is make sure that all your batteries are good, fully charged, all the connections are good, and all your ground wires are hooked up. Once you've established everything is okay, then that little box over there, like I was going over before, so the gate's not going down. Everything else is functioning fine. So if you look at that little box over there, down, it says it energizes valve C, the white wire. This, on this particular gate, here's valve C, but it has a white wire on it. This white wire runs over to this bus bar. So you want to take a voltmeter. You can take a test light if you have to, but I'd rather have a voltmeter. Put it on here, ground it out, and have somebody hit the down button. See what kind of voltage you get through it. These electrical valves, after they get around 11.5, 11 volts, the magnet sometimes is not strong enough to open the valve up. So you want to check to see what the voltage is running through here. Now, if you've got voltage running to this bus bar, that means you've got voltage running from the switches through the wiring all the way to this bus bar. So now it means it's from here to the valve that you're looking at. So if you want to check the valve, an easy way to check the magnet on the valve is to take a screwdriver, hold it about a 1/4 inch away from the nut, have somebody hit the down button, and if it snaps up against it really hard, then the magnet's good and it's probably going to be the stem. Just replace the stem. Okay, inside this power unit, there's an option here. This is a emergency hand pump. How this works is you've got a handle. It's just like a little bottle jack. You put it on here. If you open this up, the gate actually comes down. To tighten this, you want to turn it until it stops, and then just do a slight 1/8 to a 1/4 inch turn. You don't want to twist it real tight because it'll actually break the seat inside there, and then it'll constantly leak down. To get the gate up, put the handle in here just like a regular bottle jack, and you pump it. As you pump it, the gate will go up. Every pump will move the gate up about a 1/2 inch. This is made just to, in case the motor or the pump goes bad or the switches go bad and the gate's down, it's only made to get the gate up and into the open rope position. If the gate is all the way out, then you got to loosen and disconnect the chain so you can push it in by hand. Okay, on this model gate, to check the fluid, since it's gravity down, the gate has to be all the way down on the ground. This happens to be the only one. It doesn't have a dipstick, and it doesn't have a polymer semi-clear tank, so you can't see the oil. So how you do this is you let the gate all the way down, you unscrew the cap, take the cap off, take something, a wire tie, something clean, and you've got to put it in until it goes all the way down, touches the bottom, bring it out, go to the bottom of the tank, and the oil level should be about 1 inch from the top. Okay, on the chain there's a hydraulic motor that runs it out, and there's idle gears. The bottom gear that you see there is on the motor itself. It's held on by a keyway. It spins with the shaft. The 2 top gears spin on the shaft. They have grease fittings in them. So when you're doing a PM, you want to grease these gears on the top, the 2 top gears. Okay.
And here comes the plug.
Okay, when you're doing a preventative maintenance on the gate, one of the things you want to do inside the box is just generally visually look. You want to check the batteries, make sure all the batteries are charged. You don't have any dead cells in any of the batteries. You want to check the grounds, all the grounds. There's a ground connection here, there's a ground stud back in the back that all the ground run to, and then all the valves have a ground on them that run and connect. Here's a ground stud here, there's one on the motor. The other thing you want to check, you want to make sure that the circuit breaker, this little 10-amp circuit breaker is working. There's a circuit breaker right here. Push the red button. If you hear it click, that means it's snapped. If it doesn't click, it just pushes in, it's fine. But you want to take the voltmeter and check the back, make sure you get the voltage on both sides of it. The other thing you want to do is you want to check all the hydraulic lines, make sure none of them have been frayed or damaged, there's no leaks anywhere, that they're tight. When you're tightening hydraulic lines, JIC fittings take 13 foot-pounds. Don't tighten them real tight, because what happens is it's a V shape, and as you're tightening it, will actually split the fitting, and then it's just going to leak. You're going to have to put a whole new fitting on. Okay, on the back side of these gates, you'll see angles with bolts in them, and they also have got bolts here. These do two things. This adjustment here is to adjust the gate in and out so it goes into the lock. Also, you take these out on each side, disconnect the chain. You've got to get a jack underneath the gate, and then you can bring the gate out until the roller comes out past the track, outside of the track, and you can change the rollers. This also allows you to change what we call the side buttons, which there's a little polymer plastic nylon button that goes up and it rubs up against the inside of this track, and it keeps the gate going straight in and out. It doesn't allow it to move back and forth. There's adjustments on these. There's one in each corner, two in the back, two in the front. Screw them in. You got to have the gate all the way back when you go to adjust the back side. Screw it in until it hits the side of the track, and then screw it out about a quarter to a half a turn. Same on the other side. That gives it a little space in there, but it allows it to stay straight. Okay, on the lock itself, there's an adjustment. As soon as you start lifting this handle, this hook should start moving. That's this adjustment right here. If it's out too far and the driver goes to lift the handle, he can lift the handle up before this ever moves, and the pin will never come out of here because it doesn't open wide enough. So to adjust this, you loosen these two bolts, run this block down until it hits the back of the hook. Tighten the bolts, and then there's a set screw right on top of it. And that gets screwed down until it hits the block. That's just in case these come loose, the block doesn't try to slide up when he lifts the handle. Okay, on this gate there's a ground wire. There's a bolt welded to the outer slide. This is the outer slide. And the ground wire hooks to it, comes down this loop, and then there's another bolt welded to the inner slide. This moves back and forth with the gate as you run it in and out. And it's screwed onto here. This is important. You got clamps holding this, and you got clamps over here holding it. When you do a PM, you want to make sure this is tight, clean, and the other side is, because if this ground wire comes off, the only place it gets aground is through the rollers. And as the gate runs in and out, the rollers will spark like crazy, and you've just destroyed the rollers. You're going to have to change the rollers. So anytime you do a PM, make sure that this ground wire is up. All right, the adjustment on the back we were talking about is to move the gate forward or back. When it comes back all the way, it stops. So this pin lines up with the hook. If it's too far forward, this pin will come up and hit this stationary piece of flat stop. If it's too far back, it will actually push this hook back, won't clear the end of the hook, or it gets back and does clear and pushes this back, and now it will unhook. So now when the gate goes up, you'll notice that it's inside the hook. There's a small clearance behind the pin. When you lift the handle, the hook comes past far enough to allow the pin to come down. This is adjusted right. Okay, on the gate, one of the things you want to do when you're doing a PM is you want to run the gate all the way out and make sure these adjustment screws are for running the gate out so it arcs up and doesn't hit the side of the wall. If for some reason it's in, as it goes up, if it's in too far be out here, and there'll be a big space in there. So what you want to do is adjust this so as the gate goes up, it comes up, stops at the floor. There's about a 1/4 inch clearance before it hits the side of the gate, or the trailer, I'm sorry, before it hits the side of the trailer. Is for going up, one on each side. And this is the up stop, to stop it at the floor. As this gate goes up, this stop hits the stop that's floating right here. It's adjustable. You can loosen these bolts and it'll slide back and forth. So you want to run it up until it's about an 1/8 inch below the floor. And then you want to knock it down until it hits this, and then tighten these bolts up. So when it goes up and hits, the gate will flex just a little bit and it'll be flush with the floor. Okay, we've got the stop taken off just to show you. This little button right here is what you're going to be adjusting. This bolt moves it in or out. As you can see, there's a big gap in there. What you want about a little less than 1/8 of the clearance in there to a 1/16 of the clearance. So you would screw this in until it touches the side, and then you would screw it out about a 1/2 turn. Then you would go to the other side. Okay, as you can see, this one has a small space between it, not a large space, where it's adjusted out. So as it runs in and out, it doesn't allow the gate to move back and forth. That's what this stop is. When you adjust these, this is the bolt you adjust, or this is the bolt that you adjust for side-to-side movement. When you're adjusting these two, it has to be all the way out. Then you have to run it all the way in to adjust the back two. Like I said, you adjust it until it hits the side, and then you turn it out about a 1/2 turn. Okay, all the arms, the pins have grease fittings. This top arm, tension arm, has grease fitting here. All the other grease fittings are on the opposite side for greasing the gate, on this side and that side. Okay, there's 4 rollers installed on the gate. They also have grease fittings. There's one on each corner of the inner slide, front and back. Okay, the auto lock also has 2 support barrels. Each one of these barrels also have a grease fitting on it. One of the things when you're troubleshooting the gate, the driver might come in and say that he's run the gate all the way to the floor, and then he comes back out from doing whatever he's doing, and he says the gate has dropped down about 1 inch. Almost all the time, it's one of these cylinders are leaking internally. And how you check that, there's a little plastic hose that runs into a T. You have to disconnect those hoses off of that T and put them in separate buckets. What you want to do is you want to run the gate all the way up so it pushes the oil out of it. And then you want to disconnect them and put them in a bucket, walk away for 15-20 minutes, do something else, and then come back and see which one is dripping oil into the bucket. Whichever one's dripping oil in the bucket, that is the cylinder that's leaking internally. Okay, on the LPS gate, there's 2 large springs that help you fold and unfold the gate. If you have to change the springs, make sure that tension is off the spring if you go to take it off, because you can get hurt trying to take it off. When the gate, the secondary is fully open, this spring, the left-hand spring, will be loose. The right-hand spring is under tension. One spring helps open, one spring helps close. secondary open or closed so the tension is off the spring that you're changing. Okay, the tension arm and compression arm at each one of these connections, they have bushings in them. There's an easy way to check the bushings. You run the gate out, don't let it sit on the ground, have it up off the ground a bit. Step up on the platform and straddle this pivot point and just rock back and forth. If you feel it rocking back and forth, change the bushings. Change them in all the arms. Because if the arms start to wear and you start cutting into the metal of the arms, they're not going to send you new parts for you to weld on. You've got to buy the whole unit. Bushings are about $30, $40 a piece. They're not that hard to change.